Thank you for taking time out of your day to learn more about an important proposal that will share the future of the City of Maize. This presentation is designed to inform our residents about a proposed 1% local sales tax. Our goal for this video is to clearly explain what the proposal is, why it's being considered, and how it would be used, so you can make an informed decision when it appears on the ballot this August. So, what exactly is being proposed? A 1% local sales tax, equivalent to 1 cent per dollar, dedicated exclusively to traffic improvements, roadway reconstruction, and sidewalk development. The tax would be in place for 10 years and includes a sunset clause ensuring that it will end unless renewed by voters. Maize continues to grow rapidly. From 2010 to 2020, Maize was the fastest growing city in Kansas. Since 2020, the trend hasn't slowed. We're on track to reach a population of around 10,000 by the end of this decade. In 2024 alone, the city issued 229 residential building permits, adding 339 new housing units. As our population expands, so does the demand on roads, sidewalks, and other infrastructure. To keep our community safe, accessible, and prepared for continued growth, we must invest in our streets and sidewalks now. Growth is happening now, and so are the challenges. This proposal allows us to proactively invest in infrastructure. If we don't act, we'll either have to rely solely on existing property taxes or delay critical projects, both of which limit our ability to keep pace with demand. Why consider a sales tax? Unlike property tax, sales tax ensures that everyone who uses Maize's roads, residents, visitors, shoppers, and commuters alike, contributes to their upkeep, not just property owners. It's a more equitable way to fund the infrastructure we all rely on. Data collected from physical visits to Maize's largest sales tax generating retailers tells us that on average, 86% of visitors to those sites live outside of the City of Maize. This means that an overwhelming majority of those shopping in Maize are not currently contributing directly to tax base of Maize. Capturing their revenue through a sales tax and continuing to build our retail and commercial sales inventory through more commercial development will provide additional opportunities for non-Maize residents to contribute. 85% of the revenue would go directly toward infrastructure projects. The remaining 15% would be used to offset future property tax increases, helping keep Maize affordable for homeowners. The proposed sales tax would directly fund key improvements across the city with a focus on areas where traffic concerns, condition issues, and inadequate or no sidewalks exist. These future projects could include widening and exploring turning lanes along 119th Street between 29th and 45th, along with new sidewalks, safety upgrades along the 45th and Tyler corridor, which presents complex challenges like the K96 underpass, K&O Railroad crossing, and Big Slough Drainage Way, and other high-priority street and sidewalk projects identified by city planning. In addition to improving safety and mobility, better infrastructure attracts retail, dining, and commercial development, strengthening our local economy. Sidewalk improvements are especially important. This initiative would expand and connect sidewalks, making it safer for students walking to school, families, and residents of all ages, with many of the newer neighborhoods being constructed in close proximity to the schools and limited busing availability within 2.5 miles of Maize schools. Connecting sidewalks to schools is as important as ever. Studies show that walkable communities increase resident satisfaction, foster community connections, and encourage local business growth. Let's talk numbers. Through a conservative estimate, a 1% sales tax is projected to generate approximately just over $671,000 annually, or $6.7 million over 10 years. And that's without factoring in any future growth and calculating the highest and most recent year's collections. Compare that to property tax. 1 mil generates just under $100,000 per year. So this sales tax would provide a much stronger and more diversified revenue stream without increasing the burden on homeowners. The need, however, is greater than the revenue. The total cost of our priority projects, like the roundabout at 45th and Tyler and widening Tyler Road and 119th Street, exceeds $40 million. That's why we're taking a phased approach. The 1% sales tax will allow us to begin with the most critical projects first. It also positions us to pursue additional funding and partnerships in the future to complete larger efforts. We will form partnerships with adjacent and overlapping local governments and continue to pursue state and federal grant funds, along with our local collected tax dollars. The proposal was formed from community feedback. We asked our residents for input in the most recent community survey and focus groups, and here's what we heard. 97% say Maize is safe, and 93% value our school district. 83% feel Maize is well maintained. 86% expect to stay in Maize for at least the next 5 years. When asked about infrastructure priorities, over 80% of respondents supported widening 119th and modernizing Tyler Road. And when it came to funding options, 68% favored a 1-cent sales tax as the most reasonable path forward. The bottom line is, residents want investment, but they want it to be measured and responsible. We also heard concerns about property taxes. That's why 15% of this sales tax revenue would be used to reduce pressure on future property tax increases and even look to reduce our current municipal property tax rate. Without this alternative funding source, needed infrastructure projects would either be delayed or funded through higher property taxes. We understand that trust is essential when asking for any new tax. That's why we're committed to full transparency. Spending will be tracked, publicly reported, and updated regularly. You'll know where every dollar is going and what it's accomplishing. This proposal is not open-ended. It comes with a 10-year sunset clause, allowing residents to evaluate its impact. If the community sees real improvements and wants to renew the tax in the future, that decision will again be up to the voters. This ensures accountability and gives the community continued control over its future. Here is the question as it will appear directly on the ballot. We've aimed to keep it clear while maintaining flexibility to adapt to evolving needs. A vote in favor of the sales tax is a yes vote. A vote against the sales tax is no vote. If you are a registered voter living and registered at a location in corporate limits of Maize, you are eligible to vote. Simply vote as you would normally, as you would on a primary ballot, and the question will automatically be on your ballot. The sales tax proposal will appear on the August 5th, 2025 primary election ballot. Key dates to remember for voting. Advanced voting by mail will begin July 16th. Early in-person voting begins at Sedgwick County Election Office on July 21st and at all satellite locations on July 31st. On Election Day, August 5th, you will need to vote at your designated polling location. We encourage everyone to participate in that election. Your vote will help determine how we fund our city's infrastructure for the next decade. Thank you for taking the time to learn about this important proposal. To stay informed, visit the City of Maize website for updates and frequently asked questions. Reach out to city staff or elected officials with your questions. We value your input and encourage your participation.